Hey, welcome back everybody to the Marina and the Flower Child. I'm John,
I'm Jackie.
and we're very, very happy that you're here. And we are very grateful to all of you who have viewed our videos in the past couple of months and subscribed and pushed that thumbs up for us. And we are very excited to be here. So today was a big day. We published a book, Jackie and I. We co-wrote it, and it's called Boys Cry 2. It's T-O-O. So it should be online here shortly, if not in pre-sales, but regular sales and Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and all of those places. It's a story, and I've alluded to it in some of our other videos, that I basically grew up in a horror house, not a horror house, a horror house of a childhood. Gotta watch those teeth. And so it's about my experiences and how I got through them and how I got out to the other side, and what it's like for Jackie to be a survivor or a survivor supporter of a lot of different kind of abuses. So that should be online here shortly. If not, Boys Cry 2, T-O-O.
Well, congratulations, most definitely, to you for coming out the other end with such a distinguished career. It could have gone the other way at any time in your life, but through your own perseverance and lots of hard work on your part, and people who supported you throughout your career, a distinguished military career, commercial pilot, and most importantly, the human being that you are definitely to be applauded for all of your greatness, without question. So it is my humble opinion that this is a success, without question. Just having the courage to sit and write the truth and say your truth without feeling shame or anything of that kind, you should 110% be applauded. And that is another reason why Nina Simone is also one of my heroes, because she hid her own mental illness, bipolar. She was diagnosed really in the 60s, but at that time the medications that were used were quite destructive to her vocal cords as well as to her physically. And so she didn't just have she didn't have a bad attitude. There was something going on with her, but people chose to look away and not look further. And now I'm so glad that in 2026 we're able to openly speak about mental illness and the struggles and how people cope, as Nina had to do so privately and silently, and as you had to do so growing up in the hell home that you grew up in at the hands of your Southern Baptist, pious, righteous father who was as an abuser. He was a sexual abuser, a predator, and not just on you, but on many others. And so I'm very grateful that you're here to tell your story.
Well, I'm very grateful for your support over the years, too. I know that I've been a handful at times.
Not you at all.
More than a handful?
We'll ask Bubba.
Less than a handful?
We'll see what Bubba says.
Well, we wanted to share something else with you from Nina tonight, like we've done the last couple of weeks. And the story, I think we touched on the story last time when she did not get accepted to the Curtis Institute in Philly. She had to find a job, and so she got a job in a studio helping kids who were aspiring singers. So she learned a lot of the current classics, like the Michael Bublé stuff that he sings, and the crooner types and all of that. And so some of the kids that she ran into during that time suggested that she goes to Atlantic City. But she was so terrified that her mother might find out that she had to change her name. And her boyfriend in New York City, before she went to Juilliard to prepare for the Curtis Institute, called her Nina. So she changed her first name to Nina. And then the French actress that she looked up to was
Simone Signoret.
Simone Signoret.
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 Yes.
So she changed her name to Nina Simone, and she ended up in this, I don't know what you call it, a juke joint,
A dive bar.
dive bar
Yes.
called the Midtown Cafe. And the first night she walked in like she was going to Carnegie Hall in her elegant or her elegant gown, and she bellied up to the bar and ordered a glass of milk because she wasn't a drinker at that time. And all the old farts looked at her and laughed. And the owner said, "There's the piano," and there was an umbrella hanging over the seat because the air conditioner was dripping on top of onto the seat. So she didn't know what to do. She didn't know, she had never performed like that before. So she sat down and she improvised for 3 straight hours, just whatever came to mind. And after a few nights of that, all of the local bartenders and the valet guys and all of her peers in age at that time started coming in and drove the old guys out. And one of the kids became one of her friends, Ted Axelrod.
Mm-hmm.
So Ted Axelrod said, "Why don't you play I Love You, Porgy?" And why don't you tell us the history of that song?
I Love You, Porgy. Unfortunately, this being Black History Month, it's not a very complimentary history behind that song, and it was actually quite racist, if you will, towards people of color, to Black people. And the composer purposely did I Loves You, Porgy because he believed that Black people couldn't speak English properly. And so Nina changed it and made it one of her own. So that's the history behind that song, and it ended up being her first hit, wasn't it?
It was her first hit, and it led her to her first recording contract, and we have a sample for it right now. That is beautiful. And what we didn't tell you was the second night that she performed in the Midtown Bar and Grill, the owner told her, "You either sing or I'm going to fire you." So that's how she became not only a genius of a piano player, but also a singer. She didn't know that she could sing until the second night when she had to.
Right, yes, and that's when she really started playing the standards of the day if you will. And Ted Axelrod actually had a lot to do with her becoming well known outside of the Atlantic City, New York City, Philadelphia area. He had a lot to do with that. He was a credit to her. And as the story goes, then of course she met the Slime, you know, and sold her rights to a lot of her songs. And then she had to fight at the end of her career to get them back, if you will. So one of the big things there is always hold on to the rights that you create. But she was a brilliant artist, and she gave a lot to that time period. And now so many artists of the day sample her work because she is so magnificent and so brilliant, and her words were so powerful. She changed the tone of her songs as we got more into the civil rights movement into the 1950s and 60s. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, she was kind of on the outside of the civil rights movement until she met her best friend,
Lorraine Hansberry.
Lorraine Hansberry. And Lorraine Hansberry looked at her and said, "Why aren't you more involved in the civil rights movement?" Lorraine Hansberry was a playwright, and Raisin in the Sun was the first play performed on Broadway by a black playwright.
That is correct.
And I got to look at my history professor here to the right to make sure that I'm not screwing anything up here. So I don't want to be corrected on air.
I would not ever do that to
I'm
you.
giving her the side eye.
No, I would not ever do that
Am I
to you.
right?
Yeah,
Am I
you're
right?
absolutely.
Am I right?
Yes, you're perfectly right. Raising
So-
the Sun, yes.
Raisin in the Sun. So Lorraine says, "Hey, you know, why don't you jump in here?" And she was really kind of on the fence. She was, you know, she hated being called a jazz player because that was racist to her. She hated being compared to
Billie Holiday.
Billie Holiday because, well, I mean, she was a little angry all the time, but she hated being compared to her. And so she was kind of lost until she found, and she channeled all of her anger, a lot of her anger, most of her anger, into what she was doing during the civil rights movement.
But what was the catalyst, if you will, that made her
Well,
go feet first, all the way
it
in?
was the 16th Street bombing in Birmingham, and that killed the 4 little girls in it was September 16th, 1963, 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham. And she went out to the garage to make a zip gun so she could kill white people. And her husband at the time, Andy, said, "Why don't you write a song? And we'll be playing that song, which is called Mississippi Goddamn, which is quite an eye-opener later this month."
Yes. Well, as always, congratulations once again. And
Congratulations to you too,
Thank you. And
co-writer.
thank you.
She's too modest, way too modest.
And thank you all so very much for listening, spending time with us each week. Please tell your friends and family all about us. Press that like button. Give us ideas. We need ideas for the month of March to celebrate. And tell us what you like, don't like, want to see. And as always, please remember to dance like nobody's watching.
And always lead with kindness, especially to yourself.
Good night.